Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Gateway of Becoming. I am here with Dawna. Hi, Dawna.
Hello. Hello.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am great. I'm so delighted to be here, and we're going to speak about a topic that, well, I'll say it like this. We have this lovely little list that we just kind of, put ideas of things we want to speak about on. And this topic was on that list. It kind of grew organically or came organically through conversation that we've had. As far as let's say small talk, but controlling conversation, for lack of better words, to funnel it to an outcome. So let's say if we go to a grocery store or something, and I'm totally guilty of this in the past. I have worked through this a little bit since then, but I'm not looking to have an objective for the conversation that I have, let's say with someone at a grocery store. Or maybe I'm going to an appointment. And instead of trying to think about what I want to say and how I want to say it to make sure that the conversation goes, and I'm filling in any silence, it's like, no, I'm just going to let it flow. And we often think, again, guilty. I don't want to get too personal. I don't want to go too deep. I don't want to share a bunch of things because maybe this person doesn't even want to hear this. But instead, shifting the perspective of each of these opportunities for us to speak with someone else could be an opportunity to go deeper. It could stay surface. Maybe it's just small talk, talking about the weather. It's always a classic, fun one. But maybe it's an opportunity for us to reflect and to share support, share love, have an opportunity to listen to someone and empower them to feel seen. That might impact their whole day or their whole weekend or their whole week ahead. Because we don't realize how powerful those connections can be. And instead of allowing, let's say, our ego to hop in and be like, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is what we're going to talk about. We're going to get in and we're going to get out because I don't want to make this awkward. Instead, it's like, you know what? Let's just see what happens. Let's embrace the moment. So without having specific terms of how to define this, hopefully, Dawna, did I cover it well or am I missing anything else?
No,
Okay.
I think you did.
It's like, how do you introduce this? Because it's a bigger topic. But I was just sharing this with Dawna that I went out to dinner for my birthday with my brother and his wife. Any opportunity to speak with someone is an opportunity to allow that flow and to allow spirit to kind of come through us and connect with what's in the heart of that person that you're speaking with. So for example, my waiter, I don't know my waiter. I've never met my waiter. I don't know what his life journey is like. But instead, it's like, hey, let's just have a conversation. And I start joking about my birthday and, that I just turned 16. And the poor guy's like, what do I do? Do I laugh? Right? Do I say something? But just allowing that flow of conversation. And by the end, he and another waiter were bringing us food to eat and bringing us wonderful conversation. And we're all laughing and having a great time. And if I would have been a little bit more prescriptive, I probably wouldn't have invited all those lovely things that provided such joy. And to the point where we closed down the restaurant and they weren't kicking us out. But it's inviting those things in, exploring those things. So it was a beautiful reminder. And I have to say that it's a practice. And Dawna, I don't know for you, kind of like when you go to the grocery store or you go out, if there's a thing that you remind yourself of or things that you think about to allow source to kind of come through you in those conversations.
Honestly, not yet. Not yet. I'm still one of those people so we talk about how empaths tend to get overwhelmed by the energy because we're so sensitive. And so that is the assumption. And because that's the assumption, that's what we experience. So that's still something that I'm personally working on because I'm one of those people that gets in there and gets out as quickly as possible. Like this morning, we went to Walmart because we're getting ready for our eldest daughter's wedding on Saturday. And so,
Woo! So
yes,
exciting.
and so we had to pick up some things, and Walmart is not ever my favorite place, even when I worked there. So I get in there and
Oh my
get
God.
out as quickly as possible. And often it's a tense experience. So I don't really talk to a lot of people, not because I'm standoffish, but because I'm so focused on getting in there and getting out. Because when we talk about being open to conversation, I have a Virgo moon and Capricorn rising and Virgo North Node. So I'm very in my head, and that's something that I've been working on this past year. So when you say very prescriptive and trying to think through everything, that's where I am in a lot of situations, but I am getting, I don't want to say getting better, but I'm
Yeah.
consciously working on it. So with you, because I'm familiar with you and we're friends, and with my husband, people that I know and feel safe with, and you can't shut me up most times. But when I'm in
I
an
love it.
uncertain situation, it's a little more difficult. And it is getting past the mind and opening up and allowing and trusting. Trusting's the biggest thing, I think, is trusting that everything's okay, that it's safe, to trust yourself sometimes too, because that's something we were talking about yesterday is often our ego selves, we can feel the difference between it and our spirit self. Our spirit self feels grounded and rooted and steady, where our ego self often is ready to flee or fight. And so
Very much so, right?
so yeah, so it's kind of up in the air, not as grounded.
No, I love that. And allow me to say this too. With your Virgo energy, there's a beauty, a polish. And then with Capricorn, there's a structure, there's a sense of respect also. So these are beautiful energies, but obviously finding that harmony and that synergy between them can be challenging, especially in just being in the moment and just allowing what's going to happen. It's like, well, wait. I want to do a little shine here.
Going on.
Exactly. How is this going to be structured? Are we going to be chatty or maybe not so chatty? But there's such a beauty in, I think, for all of us. For me, how I see it, it's almost like connecting with the moment and then just allowing whatever to unfold, which can feel wonky. It can feel daunting because we have all, and I'm sure I can say this accurately, we have all had a conversation with at least one other being who kind of hijacks the whole thing and tells you every story they've ever known in their entire life.
Especially here in the Ozarks.
And then suddenly you're like, I got to go, right? If you're at Walmart and, you know, the checkout line is, right? Like literally it's only so long as you're standing there, let's say. And kind of that ebb and flow of how to allow. But then, you know, when you get into a moment where maybe, you know, the person is Chatty McChatterton and you're like, oh man, like I gotta, you know, I gotta leave.
Telling you their life story. and I
things.
love that. I love that. But it's sometimes it's a lot.
And especially in moments where, you know, think about our own energies. If maybe we're more sleepy, tired, maybe we are in a hurry. And it's not this person's fault. They don't know that.
Yeah.
You know, we know that because obviously we've got our calendar or our to-do list or things that we're set out to accomplish or need to get done before XYZ. And it's kind of this, again, just kind of this harmonious, I don't like to call it balance because it's not a 50-50.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be a 60-40 or a 70-30, just kind of depending on what the energy is or what's happening, what's unfolding. Because what I think we don't realize is we are put on that specific path for a reason. There's a reason you are in that checkout line in register 7 instead of you choosing 29. There was a reason for you to be in the checkout line 7. There is, depending on who's in that line or who maybe the person is that's helping you, the cashier checking out. And believe it or not, your energy is a blessing being in that line. And sometimes it's easy to forget. So we're like, okay, I just got to get in there. I got to get my stuff and then I got to get out. And maybe your light, your energy is exactly what that cashier needs. And they are calling on a blessing and here you come and you don't even realize it. You're like, I'm just getting in here. I'm just getting my stuff, I'm getting out. Or that person behind you or the person in front of you or all of the above. And I think this is why for myself, when I go somewhere, I intentionally try, like I'm thinking about it right now, like last couple of years, intentionally try to have as much time as I can, even if I don't leverage, let's say, or use all of that time. I have the ability to just kind of be there and chat if I want to, or maybe I just go through and there's just not a lot of things that get discussed and I'm in and out. But it also calls to, it's kind of like an invitation. I have to think that there's a reason for that too. So even if I am in a hurry and trying to get through, suddenly I get slowed down. I have to think that that's for a reason. Maybe that's reflecting to me my priorities. Maybe it's reminding me of my priorities. Maybe it's allowing me to have a point of contemplation. Are these priorities still important to me? Do I want these priorities? So then it's like ultra layered. And this is what the universe does. The universe leverages one scenario, you going through checkout lane number 7, for multiple reasons. For you, for the cashier, for the person behind you, the person in front of you, maybe the front end manager who's managing this cashier. All of those beings, there are layers to this and why you're in that lane. But it's kind of just surrendering to that moment of, okay, yep, I'm going to be late now. It's going to happen, but maybe this is for a reason. And maybe if I can at least just embrace this or also communicate, this is a good exercise or invitation to share boundaries. Like, hey, thank you so much for sharing what you shared. Unfortunately, I have to run because I've got this appointment. And, maybe in this moment, I wish I didn't because I really wish I could sit here and, chat with you. But thank you for sharing what you did with me, or thanks for making me laugh, or thanks for allowing this moment just to breathe and be in this moment. Be reminded of special people. I hope I see you next time, or what have you. Sharing those things and exercising those boundaries. But all of it is for your highest good, whether we can see it or not. Whether when we went into the store thinking, I have 16 minutes to get in there, get the stuff I need, and get out. And you reach check lane, number 7 at 14 minutes. So you've got two minutes to get through there. Maybe this is that invitation, because spirit comes through us in many ways. And that could be that blessing for yourself, for anyone else there. So that's kind of like the first layer for me, is just realizing the whole scenario is for your highest good. You will see it if you want to see it. Maybe not then. Maybe it'll take a couple weeks and then you reflect back and you're like, whoa, I'm so glad that person talked to me. Or then you realize, you know what? I really do need to establish boundaries more clearly and just share like, hey, unfortunately, I got to run. I'm so sorry. This is just what's happening. But then kind of that secondary layer of those conversations, instead of, let's say, trying to mitigate or trying to control the outcome or the timeline or the topic or what have you, what if I just let it go? What if I just went with it? And maybe things do get deeper. And, you're in a checkout line in Walmart. Like, what is it?
Well, we did go
Right?
to, I think it was Family Dollar or Dollar General the other
Mm-hmm.
day, and it was my husband and I. And so we were picking up a bottle of wine. and
Amazing.
and so I ended up getting carded. And I just laughed
No,
it
you did not.
off. I did. And he's all, we have
You're
to
like, thank
card
you.
everyone. And I'm like, well, thank you. And he goes, really? I'm like, yeah. I mean,
Oh.
I love being carded because it makes me feel like I'm younger than I am. and he goes, most people would just get so mad about that. I'm like, why?
Oh.
And then they take it out on the poor cashier. And so I think what you were
Oh,
saying is a good reminder that we are blessings to each
yes.
other. And I think we've forgotten that because I think we've forgotten each other, one another,
Hmm.
and that that we can bless people's lives and they can bless ours, but we have to be open to it. And just
Mm.
like that poor cashier, and he's like, thank you so much, you guys have been fun.
Oh.
and
Oh.
and and then there was another time that I went into Ace Hardware, and the cashier, he was just so genial, and he was nice to the lady in front of me. And
Oh.
once I got up there, I said, you know what? You have wonderful customer service. And it just made
Oh.
his day too. And I
Oh.
think that's a good reminder, though, is that we can be blessings to one another, but so often we're so short sighted, or our
Yes.
attention is split so much that we just look at all of it as an inconvenience, when we
That's so
have an
true.
opportunity to really connect with one another. And if we get out of our heads and get out of the monkey
True.
mind, we are able to let spirit flow through us
Yes.
and be kind and generous
Uh-huh.
and make somebody's day. And
Amen
then
to
when
that.
we do that, we'll find that more people make our day. So,
So beautifully said, Dawna. But it's true. No, and I mean that because as within, so without, as above, so below, what we embody and host in our heart is what we attract towards us.
mhm,
And so if we are of a mindset and of a heart set that we are looking to just not even have to do anything, but just being in the moment and seeing the gorgeous parallels and hosting gratitude and having that positivity and love radiate from us, we bring that out of others.
mhm,
We just do. We don't even have to try. We just first go within and connect with that, and to have the impact to bless someone else. That's so powerful. But we end up blessing ourselves too.
oh,
It's
definitely, definitely, because the energy is going through us, and so
yes.
it can't not affect us.
It's just so profound to think larger scale. And I'll say it like this. This is part of, if I'm very honest, what shifted my perspective a couple years ago. We also don't and can't see the whole picture.
Mhm,
So for example, going back to that, I got 16 minutes to get in and get out. You don't know what you're being averted from
mhm,
or averted to. Maybe there's an accident that you just avoided. Maybe you are suddenly introduced to someone who's fabulous right in front of you that you maybe wouldn't have even paid attention to. Or because of the timing of, going slower through check stand 7, as you're walking out, you run into somebody. I'm so sorry, and then you get talking and suddenly they're the person that offers you a job or whatever, right? Like, you don't know, but we act like we know,
yes,
or our blessed ego is like, oh no, I got this all figured out. It's like, really? How did you do that? It's like, I don't think anyone has it all figured out. Like, it's impossible. And it's okay to just flow with it. And imagine if we instead constrict and we tell ourselves we know, and oh my gosh, this means that, and therefore this and that and this and that, then we're so focused on what we're trying to clench in our hands that we're not paying attention to everything that surrounds us. And as we know, it can't just be one thing. And I'll just say it like that. It's impossible that it's only for you to exercise a boundary. No, it's for you to exercise a boundary, you to bless somebody else, you to bless yourself, you to pay attention to this beautiful bird that you wouldn't have seen, for you to suddenly, I'm thinking about my my birthday dinner, suddenly be blessed with all this food that you didn't even expect. Maybe now you're trying new things and you fall in love with the guacamole that you never knew. And I'm literally, this is real. They put cucumber pieces in the guacamole, which you wouldn't think about. Yeah.
No.
And it's delicious. Let me just say it's delicious. But I wouldn't have enjoyed that if I would have gotten, quote, quote, in my head, thinking that I know, just bring the appetizer out already. It's like, give it a second. Maybe there's a surprise here. Maybe there's an element of connection. And maybe this changes your personal guacamole recipe for the rest of your life. Me. That now we'll have cucumber in it forever. Like,
you'll have to share it.
Right? Literally. No, literally. I mean, you just don't know. But our ego, blessed our ego. Oh, I know. I got it all figured out. I know exactly what this means. I know this means we're going to be late. Yeah, you could be right. Yeah, we could be late. Or, what's wild, and this has happened to me, I don't know how many times, and I'm thinking back even to my corporate career, that my entire life was just overscheduled. I've got all these interviews and I got meetings and everything else. I cannot even tell you how many times that I would have a beautiful, wonderful conversation and I'm trying to get off the phone with a candidate. I was an executive recruiter and I'm 5 minutes late, 6 minutes late to my next meeting. And the executive who I'm meeting in the next meeting is 10 minutes late. And I sit there and think while I'm waiting on them, man, I could have had a couple extra minutes with that fabulous person instead of trying to cut him off. Or, hey, this provides me a few minutes to myself before I have to start talking to this executive that's coming in. But it's just constantly reframing or looking at different vantage points of a scenario. Imagine it like a sphere. We can rotate it to see it from different perspectives. But you're always being blessed if you want to be.
Again, the assumption, if we assume that life is hell, that's what we're going to experience.
Right?
If we assume that it's beautiful and wonderful and we're always being blessed, then
Yes,
that's what we're going to experience.
Yep. And I think, Dawna, you said it so beautiful. I think it was in our last episode. Whatever it is, you're right.
It's
like,
the universe will always make us right.
Whatever it is, and whatever we're hosting in our heart, and whatever we're executing. And I always invite myself in moments where I'm having a little panic, let's say, because I don't want to be late to inconvenience somebody I'm having a meeting with or a call or what have you. But those are those invitations to say, you know what? Yes, I could be late, but how do I know they're not going to be late? Or how do I know that I didn't bless them with a few minutes for themselves so they can breathe because they've had, 6 back-to-back meetings and finally they can, run to the restroom. These little things that we don't think about because we're also assuming that, oh, they're sitting there waiting for me and they're so upset because they got to go to their next meeting. It's like, but you don't know that. And then if you go in there and, hey, my apologies, I got caught up in something. I'm so grateful to be here. You bring that awesome energy with you into that meeting. Maybe you're there to inject that meeting with some light and love and excitement. How do you know? You don't know. So it's kind of just flowing with it, allowing, it's like a dance. That's how I see it. And if we go out on the dance floor and we're all sweaty and we're late and it could happen, but we could also just, make a joke. Sorry, here, just, make sure to only touch my hands because I'm just a sweaty mess because I've been running around and, I'm sorry if I step on your toes. I don't mean to. Allow me to calibrate myself for a moment. Like it can be a way to connect. And then we also don't realize that these moments, it could be very small. To your point, Dawna, you're talking to this cashier and telling them like customer service. Oh, love it. Thank you so much. This is such a great experience. If you really think about it, it's such a small thing. You're not giving them $1 million and going to their house and cleaning their house or, these extravagant large things. You're just acknowledging, you're seeing, you're witnessing, you're expressing. And that could have been the most positive thing that person, right? That cashier heard in 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
in a month, in a year. I mean, you don't know. And maybe you are that person to deliver that. And through that, it's kind of like a circuit. There's a reciprocated energy. And if they're, let's say, in a tougher energy, I think this is also for me in these moments, just allow it to be. Yeah, maybe they're really upset and they kind of snap back at you. And they're like, okay, whatever, yeah, well, I have to do that. That's my job. They're like, well, thanks so much for doing it. I really appreciate it. And not allowing the phasing of things. I'm thinking about, I one time went to PetSmart and the person in front of me, they put this dog food bag up on the belt and somehow it got ripped from like, there's like a little console where you can rip, right? So, and they started losing their marbles. Who decided to put this here? What is this, a sharp edge? Aren't you so glad I didn't cut myself so I could sue you? And I'm standing there like, whoa.
Wow.
And the poor cashier's trying to like, it's okay, things happen. I'll go get you a new bag. And this person was like, yeah, you better go get me a new bag.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, prime time, you are going to be so excited that you're standing next to me because now they're going to have to go back there and now you and I have to talk. And I was like, what kind of, dog food, right? What kind of dog do you have? They look at me like, you're talking to me, and I'm like, yeah, I'd love to know. I have a Boston Terrier Chihuahua and a Frenchie. Looking at them, right? And they're like, I have a Dalmatian. No, you don't. I love Dalmatians. My granddad used to have a Dalmatian. He named it Ditto. Right? Just having a conversation. And they were looking at me like I was just batty. Like, who's this crazy lady who just wants to talk? And I don't want to talk. I just want to get my dog food and get out. Okay. That's the experience you want to have. Okay. But that's not going to change me and how I interact with you or what I see. I see someone who's maybe has a lot of stuff on their plate and doesn't know how to offload it or doesn't know how to talk about it or is just really overwhelmed. And the cashier by this time comes back with the bag of food, scans it, doing all the things. And they put the dog food over their shoulder and they turned around and looked at me and said, thank you.
Oh, nice.
I said, you have a great day. You have a great day. And then the cashier's like, thank you so much. You have no idea. I was so stressed. And she starts crying.
Aww.
I'm like, it's okay. Dog food. I was like, here, do you want me to help you clean this up? Like, it's not a big deal. She's like, oh, I just can't believe this. But these are these opportunities. You don't know why you're there. And if you're already late or things are already happening, just let it be. Then just own it. Hey, you'll never guess what happened to me at PetSmart. There was dog food everywhere. And maybe that's the story that breaks down the walls and barriers of someone else who doesn't know how to maybe have a conversation or is kind of feeling stressed. That might be the opportunity for them to open up too. And our ego cannot, and rightfully so, cannot know all of these variables.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way.
We don't know what other people are going through.
Yes.
Just like other people don't know what we're going through.
Yes. Amen. And when we assume, we close doors.
Yes.
We do. And I constantly remind myself, these are opportunities to open things. Open a window. That's fine. It's not even a door. It's just a window. It's cracking it just a little.
Let the fresh air in.
Right? Let's get some circulation in here. There's no way for us to know. So just embracing the moment and, we do our best. This is one of my favorite things that Bashar says, that we are not responsible for the outcome. We are not. We are only responsible for our actions in that moment. And those actions can influence the outcome. Maybe we really are going to be late, and then somehow by miraculous things, the person you're supposed to meet with cancels. They're like, oh, I can't make it. And you're like, oh, look at this. I was going to be 15 minutes late. Now I'm not late because it doesn't exist anymore. And I got to have a joyous conversation. And now I have, 15 minutes for myself. Now I can go get a smoothie or something. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. So just allow it. And when we blame ourselves or try to take responsibility on for that outcome, that's when we constrict. That's when we often attract those things that we shouldn't experience. We don't have to experience. We don't need to experience, let's say. But through our choices, we call it in. And I think once I realized I am not responsible for the outcome, I'm responsible for my actions, for my energy that I'm contributing to the situation, you start to also let off a little steam. Your ego can breathe a little because it's not like, this has got to happen right now. And it just helps us put things into perspective because, to your point, Dawna, expectations, man, if I can be so blunt, to me, expectations are the devil. That is the living example of the devil. You are constricting yourself. You're constricting everyone else around you. You are taking all the possibilities, the wave of infinite possibilities. You're taking all of those particles and boom, collapsing them into one very small little box that's dark and confining. You have at all times, even when you're running late, even when you don't feel good, even when you don't want to talk to anybody, even when there's dog food everywhere, you have in every single one of those moments infinite possibilities. How do you know what's going to happen? You don't. We don't. Yeah, we claim we do. But truly, truly, from my heart, expectations are the devil. They are the things that restrict us. They are the things that literally confine our experience. And it also takes the focus off why we're actually in that moment. Because often in reflection, so looking, let's say, quote backwards at our experience that we just had, we can identify likely why we're there. We can ask our guides, hey, why was I in that situation? Why did I have to deal with raining dog food? And now I smell like dog food. I wasn't expecting this to happen. Why was I there? And we can gain those answers. We can gain that clarity. But if we just focus on what we have, if we're already running late, I have trained myself, and I have to say, ARC is the best example of this for me, that no matter what was happening, ARC would just flow with it. It's like, oh, we're late? All right. Well, it's happening. We could be late, but you know what? We might not be. You never know what can happen. And in those moments, allow the universe to surprise you. How do you know suddenly you don't get the fast track home and that street that always has traffic has none? It normally takes you 17 minutes to travel it, and it took you 4 because there's literally not one car stopped. That could happen. And boom, now you're not late anymore. Like instantly fixed. You just never know. You just can't expect anything. Just flow with it. Go with it, flow with it.
It reminds me of, because you were saying expectations are the devil, and that just reminds me of the difference between earth being heaven or hell, because I truly believe that we have a choice of what we create here for ourselves. And
yes,
we can either experience heaven or we can experience hell. And it really takes just as much energy. Not really, because the hell,
so true.
The hell actually takes more energy than the heaven.
Yes. That's such a beautiful parallel. And that is profound truth. Because we make it so.
Mm-hmm.
This can be heaven on earth. This can be hell on earth.
It just depends on our focus.
Amen. And whatever we focus on is the thing that comes into our existence.
And whatever we focus on expands, and it gets,
yes.
yeah. Like when you start to wobble and you keep focusing on the wobble and it starts becoming a avalanche.
Literally, right? The wobble, just earthquake, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden everything's shaking, and pretty soon there you are, and you're under
And you
the rock and
spiral
rubble.
and yeah, under rubble. Yeah.
You're like, wait, how did I get here? It's like, we chose that. And that's a tough thing for our egos to hear. It's like, no, I wouldn't choose that. How dare you say that? I wouldn't want to be underneath an avalanche of rock. I wouldn't choose that. It's like, yeah, we did. One thing led to another, led to another, led to another. And things continue to expand.
But we need to be
Yes.
gracious. We need to give ourselves grace, because we can't start beating up on ourselves. Oh, I chose this and I made this way. And we all do it from time to time, and we need to be gentle with ourselves. It's just one of those things that we need to assert awareness and consciousness, and we will be faced with the same sort of situation again until we start getting it and start choosing differently.
Yes. We get invited
It's a
to that
process.
spiral. It is a process. Absolutely.
It really
No,
is.
no, and you make such an exceptional point of, that's when it's that choice of, do we want to go up the spiral staircase, or do we want to get stuck on the merry-go-round, the circle? Because we can have either. We can choose either. And there's always opportunities for awareness, because really only when we clench do we create friction. Only when we try to hold on, or we try to control something, or we try to make something happen, that's when we use some sort of tension and friction. And in doing so, we then clench around it, and then our hands are full because we're holding on to something, or we're trying to push something into it, or we're trying to hold it steady. But as we know, everything moves, everything vibrates. There is nothing still. I know your walls look still, which it's always like makes me think like, oh, this is weird. So everything is moving. Okay, nothing is still. Oh man. But literally, if you look at it at the microscopic level, everything is moving. So when we allow things to flow through us and kind of go with the flow, we're going with the inertia, we're going with the energy, and that's where source is. Constantly moving through everything. But when we stop and we're like, no, and we're trying to hold on for dear life, and we're trying to, then we create this friction, which then starts attracting more friction. Because if we have more flow, we attract more flow. We allow flow to just flow right through us. But the minute we try to hold on, and to your point, Dawna, it's also a constant practice of allowing and inviting it. It's okay. I always invite my ego, like, oh, we're clenching. Well, this must be important. Why is it important? Why do we feel the need to clench? Well, I just want this thing. I just want to experience this. This is what I really want. Beautiful. Let's allow the possibilities, because our guides know what we want, what we desire, where our heart is tuned, what we, dream up. But as my guides have affectionately shared with me, I don't know how many times, your ceiling, what you feel is the most amazing, incredible thing that could ever happen to you, is just the floor of possibility.
Oh, I like that.
Right? It's just the floor. Like, there is so much vastness past that, because we literally cannot physically, mentally, emotionally imagine every possibility. We could try to, work up a pretty freaking good list. Maybe we got 20 or 50 options, but there are literally billions of options. We can't hold them all. And if we try to, we start limiting the possibilities, because we start collapsing those potential waves of possibilities. let them roar. Just make it clear through your heart what you would like to experience. And this is always a great invitation. This or something better. This or something I can't even imagine. This or something I can't even fathom. Allow it to be, because then you're opening those possibilities. But it's definitely a practice of allowing. And when we have those moments where we clench, it's just an opportunity to dive in, to inquire, to understand. But this is part of that human experience we signed up for.
Mhm.
We are here to experience what is not, because each of us are what is, literally.
So here's a question for you, Lavender. So we're talking about this, about allowing, but you haven't always been like this. So what were the first steps that you took to start? Because it's not something that happens overnight.
No,
I know
it is
this.
not.
And
Yes.
what are the steps that you started taking at first? Like the baby steps
Yes.
to get where you are today.
Whew. Okay, this is an exceptional question. I feel like I'm going to share a piece of who I am, because if I'm very honest and transparent, this is really where it started. My moon is in Aries. My rising is Sagittarius. So we're talking about a lot of fire. And then my sun sign is Taurus. So Earth.
Mhm.
And normally when you put those things together, you're going to get some lava. You're going to get mutation and difference and new land, basically. But it also means a lot of burning. And so transparently, I think I got to a point where I realized for myself, it's like I've already experienced what this is when I control, when I attempt to control, when I attempt to not flow with things as they're happening. I know that so well. I know it like the back of my hand, right? I've done it so many times. I know what that is. But I think the fiery side of me was like, what if I just pull the plug? And I'll say my Uranus is in my 12th house. And it's 2 degrees from my ascendant, so my Sagittarius. And so this creates this perfect energy of what I affectionately, and I'll just be very honest, what I affectionately call my F-it energy. So there's a point where it's like, if I'm giving an example, I'm standing in the checkout line. I've got that 16 minutes. I've got 2 minutes to get in and out of here because I got to go to this appointment. And I've already done this. I've played this scenario so many times in my life. I'm trying to hurry. I'm trying to rush the person. I'm like, here, I got all the barcodes ready for you. Just scan them so I can get the heck
one
out
of
of here.
those.
Right? Literally, because I'm going to be efficient and I'm going to be, somehow I justified it as being respectful, because obviously I've got everything ready so they can just boom, but go, right? Hurry up because I got to get out of here. And I really honestly think it started with my F-it energy. It's like, you know what? I'm already late. It's already happening. Like, F it. I'm here. I'm going to be in this energy. What can I do to make this the best possible scenario or situation? And it really started there for me, of just letting it go. It's like trust falling. And I've described this on my podcast, Beyond the Belief, and talking about how, if you imagine 0 is the ground floor and 100 is the highest high of the sky. And I had created all this scaffolding and I got up to level 85. And anybody else who's looking at it is like, wow, look how high you are. You're up there at 85. You're almost to the top. You're doing so good. And here I am spinning 47,000 plates and I'm trying to do all the things. And if I look at all this scaffolding, I can only move 7 inches in any direction. But this world, let's say at that 0 level, ground floor, is like one of my favorite video games, which is Minecraft. So you can run around in any direction and it will just continue to render indefinitely. So you can run all the way that way and it just keeps more worlds, more discovery, more things, right? You can run in that direction, run in the opposite direction. But imagine I'm up there at level 85 and I can only move 7 inches in any direction. And I'm literally spinning all these plates and I'm trying to hold on. And so it just got to the point where it's like, F it. Like, I can't do this anymore. I'm exhausted. Every day I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, okay, keep this plate and then this plate and then this thing. And then I got to, okay, hold on. Don't fall off. Don't fall down. But then it's like, I just want to stretch my legs, but I can't even move. I can't even stretch my leg out, horizontally. I can't, because I got to stay in this little thing that I've built for myself. And it got to an unreal level where it's like, what am I doing? Like, literally, what am I doing? Is this heaven on earth? is spinning all
No.
these plates and being in this 7 inches of direction. Like, this is hell. This is not good. And here comes the fire side of me is like, you know what? F it, burn it. Let's see what happens. Cause I've already done it to this point where it's like, I don't want this. And then it's trust falling. And what happens, imagine if I just fling myself off this scaffolding that I had built at, level 85. Well, I will tell you how the universe works is the minute you stop upkeeping all this stuff, that energy then gets basically replaced into something that you actually want. You're using your precious life force to maintain this thing that everyone else can see. And I will tell you, my career was amazing, and this was amazing, in my house, and my marriage, and everything. And it was like, oh my gosh, you have this coveted life. I'm like, you have no freaking clue. Like, I'm up there just angry, right? But as you start to trust fall, that energy from all that stuff starts coming down, and like it basically like creates a little hammock for you as you're trust falling. So as you're falling down, this whole thing is coming down, but it's coming down underneath you. And so you kind of slow down. So by the time you hit the ground, you've got all this cushion because you've let all this stuff go. And the universe can do whatever it wants with it. So it's like, here, let me cradle your head. I'm going to even rock you on your way down. You're like, wow, this is so comfortable. Meanwhile, everyone around you is like, oh my God, what are you doing? You're letting everything go? Are you crazy? You know how long it took you to build that thing? Like, I can see it from, 20 miles away. You know how amazing? I would dream, I would kill to have something like that.
Would you
I'm
really?
Like, no, you wouldn't. Yeah. If you were me,
really
I don't think
knew.
so. Exactly. If you only knew all the things that it requires to be there. And this is what tells me even now, reflecting, that was not living. That was not what my destiny is. Because I will tell you, if there's so much friction and so much push and so much I got to do and duty and everything else, you are not living in your light. You are attempting to live in the shadow, yet you're trying to buy all these lights to shine up there to make it look like it's in the light, but it's not. It's just so much. So I think to answer your question, I first just, it was like, that's it. I'm going to let it go. Let's see what happens. And wildly enough, so I just celebrated my 42nd birthday, and
Yay.
on my 41st birthday, yay, right? I made a commitment to myself. And the commitment was, I'm going to surrender, even when it feels uncomfy, even when it feels scary. Because I will tell you, I had a near-death experience when I was 13. And kind of tragically, my earthly father, basically domestic violence, shattered my face and killed me. And I came back. But I will tell you, the thing that my guides remind me of constantly, that is, if the 3D is the only experience, right, this world we live in, if it really is the only experience, I wouldn't be here. Because I should have died when I was 13. And here I am celebrating 42. So what does this tell me? This tells me for sure that the 3D is not the only experience. Because logically, medically, physically, I should not be alive. Doctors cannot prove why I'm alive. So I think leaning into that, knowing that the 3D is not the only experience. I might not know all the things, but I do know that. And then to just F it, just let go, surrender, allow the universe to surprise you. And then in these moments where I normally would, let's say, freak out or, have all the barcodes ready, it's like, what can I do that's opposite here? What if I don't do that? What if I just engage with conversation with the cashier and see what happens? And if it ends up being, maybe not my chosen experience, well, next time I'll try to come to the store earlier. Or maybe I'll even set an intention before that of like, hey, I'm already late. I'm just going to embrace it. Or I'm not going to go to the store right now. I'll just go after my appointment. Just not trying to force, not trying to do. And it really helped me to try to think about the opposite of what I was doing. But truly, too, I think the bottom line for me is valuing the connection that I have with other beings in that moment, wherever I am, whatever I'm doing. How can I connect with this person, this being, and understand a little bit more about them? Or how can I share a little bit of my light with them? And focusing on that, I think for me, it just breaks down all the barriers. It breaks down all the walls. It empowers me to be in the moment because we are in any moment. And I was sharing this, Dawna, with you, I think it was yesterday. We think about time in a linear standpoint, past, present, future. And it's like a movie reel that you're uncoiling so that it goes through the machine. So you're seeing each and every individual frame. But time is actually a sphere. So it's like a circle. So you're sitting, imagine, on your throne in your light in the center of that sphere. And instead of these points in time being, my first birthday in the past and my 90th birthday in the future, those points just live on the outside edge of this sphere. So all of those points are accessible to us at any given moment. And this relieves that pressure of I have to, I must, because I got to live till I'm 90. So I better make sure I'm healthy and I got to go out there and walk because if I don't walk, I'm not going to make it to 90. It's like, whoa, hang on. What do I enjoy? Like, do I want to move my body? Do I want to connect with nature? Do I want to move my joints? It's connecting with things differently. And I think in changing our relationship with the things that we engage with naturally allows us to let go and allow and connect with those things. And again, I feel like the F it energy is really the secret sauce though, because at some point, if you just say, you know what, screw it all. I'm going to be late. I'm not going to worry about it. There's something magic in that. It's like releasing, and what you release is energy. And it allows the universe to leverage that energy of life force that you're letting go of to come right back to you in the way that you want to experience it. It's just about choice. So hopefully that makes sense. That was a long answer, but
yes, that was a wonderful answer.
Thank you. You're so kind.
Basically, F around and find out.
Yep. Just right. Just like, because why not? If we've learned culturally to do things really like one way or like two ways, the right way and the wrong way,
this way or that way.
Exactly. So what if you just introduce something else? What if you just said, that's not true? Because it could be true, but it might not be true. And what if it wasn't true? And for me, that's always where my mind is freed. Because it's like, if that wasn't true, how would I be operating? Well, I might enjoy myself. If I didn't believe that I was going to be late, I'd enjoy myself. I'd take my time. I'd be in the moment. So what if I just did that? And then, I'm going to be late and I just be respectful. I'm honest because, it's not like I'm, let's say, just sitting there like, la, 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 no, I knew I was going to be late, and I did the best that I could. And, I apologize. I want to be respectful of your time, but I'm so grateful to be here now. And allow it to be, because if I'm very honest, this has also helped me identify my tribe. Because if I'm around someone who is constricting me, right, just strangling every second, and I'm never allowed, ever, not even once, never allowed to be late, well, my goodness, this world is full of opportunities to be late. It's full of, right? It's full of opportunities to be on time. It's full of opportunities to enjoy, right? Like infinite possibilities. And so it has also empowered me to understand and identify those people who I want to be around in my life. So it's also helped me and blessed me in that way and influence as much as I can for all of those that I interact with. But if they are of the mindset, they are choosing that experience, and that is not my chosen experience. Because I will be honest, Dawna, if you came to, this recording and you were 20 minutes late, okay, like, you just blessed me with 20 minutes that I can do something while I'm waiting. Like, I can read a book. I can look outside. I can walk around. I can even leave you a note. Hey, I know you're running late. Don't worry about it. Just ping me when you're here and I'll just pop back on. It's not that big of a deal because you just blessed me maybe in a way that I couldn't see or I didn't see. So it's kind of that two-way street. Everything's on a spectrum. It's not
We
right
just
and
go
wrong.
back to that. The spectrum. The spectrum.
But it's true, right?
It is.
It's like,
It really is.
there's no other way to say it. It's just an experience. And if I notice something, if you're late and it makes me crazy, well, maybe this is an opportunity for me to ask why. Why is it making me crazy that you were 20 minutes late? Because I know you, Dawna, you're not intentionally.
I'm
I'm not
usually
going to
there
log
15
in.
minutes early.
Right? Like, and I know that you're not intentionally trying to be late. Like, no. And if that is the case, then I need to do some introspection. Why do I believe that about Dawna? Or why am I not advocating for my boundaries? Hey, Dawna, is there something I can do to help? Do you want, should we move the time back or forward? Or there's something here to explore. It's just an indicator. Because otherwise it should just flow through us. It's just, allowing
Yeah.
things that happen. It makes life so much more enjoyable. I will say that. Because if you watch the birds outside, what do? If they can't find food, they just keep looking. They just fly further. They dig deeper. And guess what? They find food. Source takes care of them, no matter what. Why would Source not take care of you?
Exactly. And that's hard to remember.
It is. Because we are taught from a very young age that we are in control of us doing all these things, which obviously, do we have influence? Yes. Yes, we do. But are we responsible? Maybe. Define responsible. Everything can be looked at from a different angle. And maybe if we're trying to push too hard to make sure that we eat, are we not allowing enough magic in our life? Are we not allowing possibility to come in that, suddenly your neighbor offloads 6 pounds of food on you because they're going out on vacation and they didn't realize they spent too much money on groceries and bought too much and need to offload it? Could that happen? Yes.
That could. Yeah. That could.
Are we allowing it to happen? Maybe not. This is our opportunity to allow those possibilities, allow the surprise. Because I don't know about you, Dawna. One of my favorite things about life is experiencing magic.
Oh, yes.
Is experiencing, right? The thing that you never saw coming and you're like, unfreaking believable. You never really see a shooting star and suddenly you see 4 back to back. It's like, where did this come from? What is happening? But are we allowing that magic to come in? Because if we're clenching, again, we're limiting, we're identifying that ceiling, which is only the floor. But if we keep focusing on the ceiling, we restrict our guides because they have to follow what we're seeking. And if we're seeking the constraint, we will experience constraint. The universe will gift us exactly what we're looking for. So
it'll always make us right.
Right? So just allow and see what happens. And I guess to kind of put a nice little bow on it for our topic of in those conversations with others and allowing Source to come through us and flow through us, it doesn't come with constriction. It doesn't come with requirements. It doesn't. Because we are already connected. We don't have to do anything. We just have to be. We just have to allow. And if we continue to just clench, then we're closing it off. We're cutting off the supply with our bare hands. So just unfurl, unclench. Allow things to come forth, come through. And remember that the 3D, for all of those of you who might have worked some corporate things in your life, if you've ever heard of lead and lag measures, the 3D is a lag measure. We have to experience it and then record it. And so there is a time gap. We just got to kind of feel through that, connect, just allow things to come through. Because we're not going to see it first and then experience it. We're going to experience it and then see it. So we just have to let and allow, which can be a practice in itself. But is it worth it? In my opinion, yes. Because it's allowed magic to enter my life and it's allowed me to recalibrate my pace and how I experience life. And it's invited that magical thing that I never saw coming. and I'm graced with it constantly. And it's like, wow, this is amazing. But it's only because I let go, if I'm honest. You just got to you got to do the irresponsible thing. And I'm using air quotes, giant air quotes. You do the thing, right? That's crazy. Sign me up. I'm doing the crazy because guess what's going to happen? There's just so many possibilities because there is no such thing as safety. As my guides say, in every moment you live, there is safety all around you. All the time. It's not a destination. It's all around you. You can just pick it out from the moment that you're in. So just allow it. See what happens. F it, you know?
F around and find out.
That's my mantra. And so it is. Dawna, thank you so much for just talking through this with me because this is such a powerful topic. And we don't realize how, right? How in the driver's seat we are in what we experience. But especially in these cases, you're a blessing everywhere you go. Don't forget that. You're a blessing to everything and everyone, even the little birdies in the parking lot. Well, they're flying around and you're like, hey, what's up, everybody? You know, and I talk to the birds, I do, and they respond. They respond because they can feel you. They can feel the energy that you're radiating. They might not understand the words or who knows. Maybe they all got all the translations. They just can't talk to us. They're like, if you only knew. Could it happen? Yes. Could it be? I joke that my dogs, my girls, they know exactly what's happening. They get the blueprint. It's like they get the memos. Like, this is going to happen to Lavender tomorrow. So just FYI, you might want to be well rested. You might want to pay attention to this. Like, I literally believe they do. Because sometimes I'm like, how did you know this? Because they know. You know, the trade-off is they can't tell us. Maybe they can if we pay attention. But they're there to support us. Everything is supporting you in every moment of now. Just got to allow the support. Just got to trust fall, which is the hardest part.
That is.
We learn we're not supposed to.
Yep.
But we can. So any parting words, Dawna, that you want to share?
I don't think
anything
so.
That's on your heart?
I think we've covered it all, and just the trust fall, that's the hardest part. And the universe will always make us right. And F around and find out. I think that's
those are the key highlights, everybody.
Yeah.
Write those on a note card and just constantly just reflect it. Right? Literally. Because I'll reiterate it again. If the 3D were the only experience, I would not be here speaking. You would not be hearing my voice. I believe that. I know that to be true. So there's way more than we think that we know. Way more.
Allow the universe to surprise and delight you.
I need to get a tattoo of that.
We'll get matching tattoos.
There we go. Like, this is the way, and F it, right?
Exactly.
Oh, Dawna.
So,
thank you so much, Dawna.
Thank you.
Appreciate you so much. And to everyone listening and watching, thank you so much for being here. We are so graced by your beautiful energy, and we appreciate being able to share ours too. So,
yes. Thank you
all. Okay. Well, we'll see y'all in the next episode. Bye.